Naast Joodse organisaties en de politieke lobbygroep AIPAC scharen Wolt en Mearsheimer ook de miljoenen evangelische christenen onder de Israël-lobby. Allen hebben zich tot doel gesteld om de belangen van Israël te verdedigen en kritiek op Israël te doen verstommen.
There's a new day in America between Christians and Jews. We don't agree on everything, but we agree on this, that we are going to be together, inseparable in the defense of Israel and the Jewish people. We have millions of people in the infrastructure. We have over 22,000 spiritual leaders, and some of those spiritual leaders have 1 million or 1.5 million names on their mailing list. We have the major radio, television ministries in America supporting what we're doing because every evangelical believes the Bible, and the Bible has a clear mandate to be supportive of the state of Israel.
Volgens John Hagee verplicht de Bijbel alle christenen om Israël te steunen. Ook ziet hij Iran en andere islamitische staten als de antichrist, omdat ze uit zijn op de vernietiging van de staat Israël. Na de laatste Libanonoorlog in de zomer van 2006 haalde zijn congregatie $8 miljoen op om de Israëli's te steunen.
Again, there's a new Hitler, and he's the president of Iran, and he intends to build nuclear weapons, and his brazen declarations against the Jews in America have been carried on the front pages of America's newspapers. Ladies and gentlemen, we must demonstrate courage. We must demonstrate intellectual honesty. We must demonstrate the willingness to stand up and to speak out. We must act now to stop Iran before the maniacal dream of exterminating the Jewish people becomes a nuclear holocaust. And I am hopeful that the American government will have the courage to help Israel in its day of adversity against tyrants. I don't think there's ever a time that you can say you have enough support. I think that our objective is to always let our elected officials know that A, we do support Israel, and that if anyone comes against Israel in a malicious way, we would do everything in our power to see that that was their last term in office.
Earl Hilliard was zo'n congreslid. Hij wilde in de jaren 90 de banden met het Afrikaanse Libië aanhalen. Een land waar de Verenigde Staten op dat moment geen diplomatieke banden mee hadden en dat zij onder de Axis of Evil schaarden. Hilliard bezocht het land meerdere malen en had nauw contact met Gaddafi.
What AIPAC did, some members of the United States Congress rather, they put in resolutions condemning Libya. And they just kept them in the resolutions with Syria and with Iran and with Iraq. They kept putting them in that in resolution and kept pushing for all kinds of sanctions, all kinds of action against them. And of course, I voted against the resolution, and others started voting against it. And I think what later I found out, what really made them angry, other members of Congress came to me and wanted to know what was happening, and I was telling them, we're trying to negotiate.
So what happened?
I was looking at CNN. Several people had called me and told me what they had seen and heard, and they told me, look at CNN.
In de aanloop naar de volgende verkiezingen bleek dat Hilliards politieke tegenstander in zijn district in Alabama meer dan $300.000 aan campagnegeld had gekregen uit New York. Een ongekend hoog bedrag.
And they flooded the radio and TV with commercials. Those commercials, and you have to understand the mode that the country was in. We had just gone through 9/11. And most Americans didn't know Hussein from Gaddafi, or Gaddafi from Bin Laden. They didn't know the difference. They all saw them as the same. And the commercial, many commercials, put me with them. saying I supported them.
Support and finance international terror network.
They had image of the airplanes flying into the World Trade Center.
Controversial position.
I tell you, I was dropping rapidly in the polls. We had continued polling. I was dropping rapidly in the polling. I tell you, it was, you have to admit it was well planned and they executed it. Afterthought is that, my goodness, they had it together. I lost the election. But you have to understand, you're talking about a forbidden subject. No one wants to talk about Jews. It's a no-no. It's like you're talking about something that's wrong. You're not even supposed to give your opinion.
So you think it's very difficult for me to even ask questions about the Israel lobby in Washington?
Absolutely. Very difficult to get answers. Very difficult to get interviews. I hope you're successful. I wish you well. It's going to be rough.
There is an enormous, very, very powerful machine out there that notes immediately when someone takes anti-Israel positions and moves out on the attack. I'll give you a very concrete example. I had mentioned the Mearsheimer-Walt study once in a seminar at one of the universities where I teach. And within 48 hours, I had an email from Alan Dershowitz.
Who is he?
Yeah, Alan Dershowitz is a Harvard professor who protects the Jewish lobby in America like an attack dog. I had an email from him, and the email essentially said he didn't think I was doing justice to the American-Israeli relationship, to Israel's existence in the world, etc., by citing the Walt Mearsheimer report because it was so heavily flawed, mistaken, and so forth. And he even attached his own attack on the Walt Mearsheimer report and advised me to use it as counterbalance in my seminar. Well, I wasn't even using the report in my seminar. I simply had mentioned it as evidence of some people's ire, if you will, with the lack of discussion, the lack of debate on these issues in America. And within 48 hours, I had one of the attack dogs for the Jewish lobby coming after me.
But how could he know this?
There are people all over America, on campuses all across America, who are set up to do just what he did, to protect the interest of Jewish Americans, and particularly the interest of Israel in America. In that sense, the Jewish lobby is probably more organized and more able to move swiftly against any potential threat than any other lobby.